Hi there, I'm Sierra Smith, the founder of OptiShop Solutions and a 7-figure Etsy shop analyst and optimization specialist with over 5 years of experience transforming Etsy shops into high-performing, revenue-generating businesses. If you are struggling trying to figure out what to sell on Etsy, then you are in the right place because I'm about to tell you a test that you should do before trying to list anything on Etsy. This is from a business analytics background and it works across every single product space, niche, industry, target customer, whatever you want to call it. This test does work, and I'm actually going to give you two little tests that you should be running to validate whether you are going to have a profitable journey on Etsy and should you even be trying to enter the market with a product that you might have in mind. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So this first test is what we call Porter's 5 Forces Analysis. It is a very powerful and actually easy tool for understanding the competitive dynamics within an industry and can be effectively applied to conduct market research for an Etsy shop. I do this for new shops and any shop that comes to be trying to expand their product mix. So this framework examines 5 key forces that influence a business's ability to compete and succeed in its market, being competitive rivalry, threat of new entrants, threat of substitute products or services, bargaining power of suppliers, and bargaining power of customers. Here is how each force can be applied to an Etsy shop's market research. So for competitive rivalry, that analysis looks like evaluating the level of competition among existing Etsy shops in your niche. High competition might mean that the market is saturated, whereas low competition could indicate a niche market with room for growth. So when you're running a search on Etsy, are you seeing lots of bestsellers? Are you seeing lots of popular nows? Are you seeing lots of items that are in lots of people's carts and lots of really, really strong listings by different shops? That in itself can give you a good idea. Okay, there is, of course, validated market demand. Like there is clearly people who want these products, but there's also a high level of competition. I have very high quality competitors and I look to have a lot of them. So application would be to use this insight to determine how to differentiate your shop, such as through unique product offerings, superior quality, or exceptional customer service. And I'd love to dive more into this with you all if you are interested, but it looks a lot like analyzing your customers' reviews and maybe some of those value propositions that they are communicating within their listing and from their listings search-facing perspectives, like that cover photo and beginning of the title. But definitely analyze your competitors, analyze how strong they look, and analyze how many there are. If you have maybe just 1 or 2 really high-quality competitors, you'll definitely be in a better space, like a better potential to enter the market competitively than if you have a lot of high-quality competitors. But if you have a high quantity of competitors and they're low quality, whereas their products are not super competitive, they're not offering that much personalization, their packaging doesn't really offer like an elevated gifting experience, then that's still an opportunity for you. Anyways, threat of new entrants. That analysis will look like assessing how easy or difficult it is for new sellers to enter your market. Factors include the cost of entry, the complexity of creating similar products, and the strength of existing brands. Application would be to strengthen your shop's position by building a strong brand identity, customer loyalty, and barriers to entry, such as unique designs or proprietary techniques. So we are always trying to enter a product space that has a high barrier to entry. Print on demand would be like the farthest from that. And that's why print on demand is so hard to be competitive with really on any marketplace. But like on Etsy, it's just, there are so many print on demand suppliers already out there. So many people trying to sell pod products that barrier to entry is so low because anybody can create them. Like literally anybody. So we're trying to find products that have a higher barrier to entry, that require a little bit of expertise, maybe require some inventory on hand, might require even just a little bit of skill or talent in terms of creating those products, or gift sets in terms of you assorting and curating items and bundling them together aesthetically. All of that raises that barrier to entry because that's not something a lot of sellers are willing to do or able to do or would like to do. You're really trying to find a space where you don't have to worry too much about there being like a ton of new competitors like all the time, like a ton of new people entering that market, trying to cost cut you with prices that are just so much lower than yours. If you're able to kind of assess whether you bring this product to the market is going to be, if you're going to be like solidifying a very secure position in terms of there not being that many new people able to enter the market like on a consistent basis, and you're definitely going to be in a better space than trying to enter a market where everybody can create that item, such as print on demand and even low value digital products. Like a lot of people could create like a single daily planner template or something of that nature. So try to like stay away from those items at those super low barriers to entry. 3 would be threat of substitute products or services. Analysis here would look like identifying alternative products or services that customers might choose over yours. These substitutes can come from within Etsy or from external platforms. Application here would be to enhance your value proposition to make your products more attractive. This could involve highlighting the quality, functionality, or emotional appeal of your offerings. So whatever product you're trying to bring, if there are a lot of alternatives out there where people can find different options, but maybe even lower price options from platforms that are just known to be a lot cheaper or known for really quick shipping. So all of those can definitely be threats to your items. And that just means that there are lots of alternatives out there. So that in itself kind of puts you in a worse position, and a much worse position, honestly, than if you had an item that nobody else had. And that's kind of the name of the game on Etsy. If you're able to bring a unique item to the market, like a generally unique item to the market that is personalized or customized, is packaged well for an elevated gifting experience, and that meets ideally underserved market demand, at least validated market demand, where there's clearly, like, it's like obviously customers searching for this keyword, lots of people are running searches for this market, then in that case, you're going to be in a much better position to kind of fight off potential substitutes, because people are not really able to create like a similar item to you. They're not able to offer like a similar service. Like, you really want to try to raise, it kind of comes back to that barrier. You're trying to kind of raise the barrier there in terms of you exceeding the customization that's offered by existing suppliers, exceeding the packaging, exceeding that overall experience of just shopping with your brand. Bargaining power of suppliers is number 4. That analysis looks like, at least for Etsy sellers who rely on suppliers for materials or component, or for who rely on suppliers for materials or components, you want to assess how many suppliers are available and how unique their supplies are. High dependence on a few suppliers can increase their bargaining power. You want to diversify your supplier base to reduce dependency and possibly negotiate better terms. This might mean considering sourcing locally or exploring sustainable materials as a differentiator. So this can really, really help you to actually differentiate your items. If you're able to kind of think outside the box and reach out directly to small businesses, maybe even other small Etsy shops or small Amazon shops, you can even really think outside the box. Like, of course, you're going to have to validate, like, you're going to have to ensure quality control, but you could even be looking into like AliExpress, Alibaba, Temu. Of course, you're going to want to get these products on hand to validate the quality of the items, but there are definitely ways that you can kind of cut through a lot of your competitors by just reaching out directly to these small businesses and not relying on companies that offer these kinds of services. Like, yes, if it's somebody who it's a large company who offers the service of maybe personalized gift boxes, like the actual boxes that you would put items in, then naturally they're likely going to be a lot more expensive than maybe like a small Etsy shop that also creates personalized gift boxes. So that's just kind of something to maybe think about in terms of just being a bit more creative, thinking outside the status quo, and kind of lowering your reliance on suppliers that everybody else is already relying on. But of course, in this same slant, you do also have to think about how many suppliers are even available. So if you know that you're not personally creating these items, like if it is a handmade item and it's kind of the reason people are purchasing from you, like if you have a gift box and like there's a very unique item in there that is what draws a lot of customers to that gift box assortment in its entirety, then that would be you'd be kind of in a scary position, because you're going to be relying a lot on that supplier, or maybe just the very few suppliers that are already out there who are offering that item or very similar items. So it's just good to further kind of take note on that before you maybe enter a market. Kind of keep note in terms of like scalability, like, are you going to be able to sell this item 100 times in 1 month, or is it limited inventories? We got limited stock. And then if you are relying on just a few suppliers, if they go up on their costs, you have to go up on your costs. And then you may find yourself selling products that are no longer at competitive price points on Etsy. So that's just something to additionally consider when you're thinking about maybe bringing an item to Etsy, is that bargaining power of your suppliers. And then bargaining power of customers. You want to evaluate your customers' power and your niche, influenced by factors like availability of alternative options, price sensitivity, and the importance of your product to the customer. application here is to build strong relationships with your customers through personalized service, engaging content, and maybe even loyalty rewards, or at least some kind of email list that keeps customers coming back. Understanding your customers' needs and preferences can also help tailor your products and marketing strategies more effectively. So it is so important to start your Etsy shop with defining your target customer and understanding their greatest pain points, their greatest competitive advantages, and why they are purchasing their items. And you want to create items that holistically serve their needs, that honestly feel like a necessity to them. Like if you can create products that they feel like they cannot live without, you're going to be in just the best position ever in terms of just being like a seller on Etsy. If you can genuinely create items, you can create a whole gifting experience, you can create a brand that really resonates with your customer and meets them where they're at, fulfills their needs. It aligns with their price sensitiveness or their price sensitivity, then that is just going to be in a great position to be in. But if you are not able to create an item or create an entire like shopping experience that meets them where they're at and that like it doesn't feel like a necessity, like if your item just feels like something that they maybe could have maybe one day, like they don't really have to have it now, like you're not telling the story as to why they would need that item yesterday, then you're going to be giving them a lot of bargaining power. And you don't want them to kind of come to you and like, well, I found this item, a very similar item for $5 on Temu, so why would I buy this from you? Like you want it to be so obvious from search, like from that listing cover photo, from the beginning of the title, from that entry level price point, from those listing images, from that description. You want it to be so obvious why your item is the obvious choice and why your item exceeds those competitors, why that whole experience is just so unlike your competitors. Because if not, then yeah, they are going to be buying from your other competitors, either on Etsy or on other platforms, because there simply are other options out there, especially if those options are more affordable. Now, diving into actually implementing Porter's 5 forces analyses even deeper than kind of what I briefly have touched on for each step, you're going to want to gather data. So use your Etsy shop's own internal data. Also use Etsy third-party tools. I like Everbee, Sales Samurai, erank, and I also will use Marmalade sometimes and Etsy Hunt sometimes as well. But those third-party tools all really help with just giving you a good understanding of like the market's competitive landscape. They can help you to find keywords that actually have lots of search volume and get those competition numbers as well. So you're also able to kind of gauge if this really is like a market gap with underserved demand. But definitely start there. Definitely start with collecting all of that data and also running searches for yourself on Etsy to collect some of that qualitative data. Like look at the products yourself and understand what those products need to look like, what that whole brand image needs to look like, what the positioning and presentation of those products needs to look like. Gather that data here at the beginning. You want to analyze your positioning in the market and critically assess your shop's current position in relation to the 5 forces. So this is if you already have a shop, then at this point you would want to actually start running those tests on your existing products. But if you don't already have a shop, then you're honestly like in a better position because you are running these tests against your ideas, against your concepts for these products. And then this is going to really help you in terms of refining those products to be more competitive and to be more secure and solid in their market. And you're going to have to strategize. You're going to have to develop strategies to address each force. And you can leverage AI here. Like we know this is probably not your background. So, once you have that data there, don't be afraid to like ask ChatGPT or ask Gemini to give you some ideas, give you some strategies, and then you can additionally add some of your own brain power into there. But, right now it might be about brainstorming, but to the extent possible, use that existing data. That's why you start with using the data from the market. You start with using those third-party tools. So you have that keyword data, you have that data you've been able to gather just by looking over listings, and you can kind of use that to define strategies that would actually resonate with your customers and would actually leverage what's working well for your top competitors on the platform and would actually ensure that whatever you're creating, like the product or just the listing, how you're presenting the product, that you're going to be able to optimize that listing for underserved market gaps or just underserved, keywords. So customers are searching these keywords, they're going to see your product, they're going to want to click into it, and they're going to be given confidence with how you've set that listing up, that your listing or your product is genuinely serving
their needs. And this could involve product innovation, marketing tactics, customer engagement strategies, and operational efficiencies, such as like really quick shipping. And then, of course, you're going to have to implement and monitor. So implement these strategies and continuously monitor how they're performing, monitor the data, and iteratively optimize. That is just the name of the game. Use your data to further optimize what you already have up in your shop. So that is this full video, full tutorial for this, for essentially approaching the market and defining a competitive product mix on Etsy. I do want to briefly touch on the other tests as well, which is going to help you in terms of when you have any products defined. This is going to help you even further exceed your top competitors or any existing competitors in that space, because you are using, again, data to actually define how to create that product and how to refine that products. So we call this test a SWOT test or a SWOT analysis. It is you essentially defining a product's or listing's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can also do this for the whole shop, for your whole shop or a whole competitor shops. Just define what that shop is doing well, define what that shop is doing poorly at, define opportunities for that shop where they are kind of leaving money on the table, and optimize and define threats for that shop. So anything that could potentially threaten that shop's competitive positioning or threaten that shop's profit, that would be a threat. The most important thing, honestly, here is to define those opportunities. And the opportunities, the easiest way to define them is by looking over their customer reviews. And customers tend to tell you what they like or don't like about a product or a listing or whatever. So if you're able to analyze those reviews and look at what customers are telling you, like, they not like the fact that this item came and it was a little bit smaller than expected, or it felt a little bit lower quality than expected, or it took a little longer to ship than they expected, or they would have wished that the item looked a little bit more like what they envisioned in their mind, then you can use all of this information to define what you communicate within your listings. So if you know that customers clearly seem to want some kind of like photo proof post purchase when they're personalizing an item, then not only would you want to offer a photo proof where you are taking a photo of their product before you ship it to them, but you also want to communicate from that listing cover photo that you do offer a photo proof, that you do, like, a photo proof is included with this purchase. And that is how you exceed your competitors. First of all, you are offering a service that they are not offering, but then you are also communicating from a space where you are showing up side by side your competitors, that you are exceeding them in this manner. And that's going to help customers to know that you are the obvious choice. So opportunities is definitely like the most important thing to do. You can definitely define a lot of opportunities by just analyzing a ton of customer reviews. Again, ChatGPT can help here, but you can also, look at it as a human yourself and take note on some of these opportunities. You can look over their product photos as well. That's an easy way to kind of assess, okay, are these photos, do they look horrible? Are they not professional? Like, okay, that's an opportunity. What are they not communicating on their cover photos? Do they offer a lot of personalization, but there's no way you would know that from search? Like, are they offering 10 different colors or 10 different fonts, but on search they're only showcasing the one? Okay, well then maybe I should be showcasing color swatches, or I should be mentioning pink option available, or I should be mentioning cotton option available, like whatever it is that you could be communicating from that search facing perspective. So that listing cover photo, or maybe the beginning of that title, that you can define all of that from a SWOT test on your competitors, on their listings, and on their shop as a whole. And then you can build a whole brand and presence on Etsy that is essentially built on the opportunities that your top competitors are missing. So that's just, if you can kind of approach it like that, you're just going to be in such a good place to capitalize off of Etsy. But that is it for this video. Don't want to go too long on you all. I appreciate you watching it through to the end. Definitely feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to work together. All my links are down below, and I'd love to just hop on a call. We can discuss how we can help each other. Feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know any other videos that you'd like to see. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you for watching.